If you're watching this video, then that means you are tired of mediocrity and you want to do something with your life. We're going to be hopping into my computer where I recorded a video and got on a whiteboard and broke down the entire process on how we can actually achieve freedom and do something with our lives and do something really cool. So enjoy the video. I remember when I was going through the process of trying to get to where I was making lots of money, where I was able to unlock freedom, where I was able to do a lot of cool things inside of my life, meet cool people, travel, drive nice cars, and ultimately just have like a really nice lifestyle. And then do things I was very proud of, that I felt very fulfilled with, very accomplished. And I felt like I was providing a greater good to humanity rather than just purely taking in life as well. What it really comes down to is when you're going through the midst of it, is, as we're going to talk about on the whiteboard in a minute, it's really kind of dark and it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel sometimes. And so I'm going to guide you through kind of like what the stages of the process are. What are these things that help you get through ultimately what it is that you're looking for the success? So the main thing is, a lot of us, we are figuring out kind of like our North Star that we are going to, which is, we'll just label it as freedom for now. This involves, 10K a month, being able to be ripped, being able to go do the things that you want, being able to live this dream life. And so most of us think that the journey is going to be a very linear line of we're going from, our starting foundational spot to this end goal as a very, straight line concept. But in reality, how it actually works when it comes to, setting a goal and chasing after that goal is there are a lot of hidden walls and boundaries and, like aspects of the process that we don't realize is a thing. It's like this kind of invisible maze of the journey of kind of trying to find this thing, of unlocking this freedom. And so a lot of us, we want it to be the straight line, but in reality, it involves us kind of going all over the place of kind of this journey and figuring out what it is that actually unlocks freedom. And so a lot of times in the journey of us achieving this lifestyle or like trying to do big things in our lives, we don't realize what we're actually getting ourselves into. But that's kind of that's the whole journey. As the saying goes, it's about the journey, not the destination. And so a lot of us, even myself included, when I was getting into entrepreneurship, when I was trying to, or at least, for me, it didn't even start out as entrepreneurship, but when it started out as I wanted to become rich, I wanted to do cool things. I think a lot of it probably biologically is like I wanted to, date beautiful women. I wanted to have, I wanted to be able to have options in life essentially. And when I first originally got in, it was like, okay, cool. Like, here's how to make, like $100 a day. And it was going and finding like, in reality, like reflecting on this, something that makes you $100 a day is most of the stuff that's kind of in this category of us trying to unlock this first stage. A lot of it's like very gimmicky, kind of like tactical stuff. There's no sort of foundational thing. What'll really kind of get us to this zone of freedom is developing. It's more so like developing our character stack, as I like to call it. If you ever play the game of like The Sims, we'll go over to like another section over here. Whenever you play like a game of Sims, you basically have these different kind of like, you had these different skills, like these little kind of bars at the bottom of, like whether it was like social skills, like wealth, like knowledge, ability to make money, like creativity. And, there was also like food, hunger. They had all these bars kind of just essentially at the bottom. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to build this stack of these different character traits and becoming the person that whatever is going on in our lives, we are able to generate, we are able to have freedom. Because you think it's very smooth sailing, as we were talking about a second ago, where it's a very straight line path to freedom. But in reality, industries change, tactics change, time moves quick, competition, it becomes a thing. What works 1 month is going to completely change over the span of like 2-3 months if it's way more gimmicky, like how to make $100 a day, which is kind of like a lot of the stuff out here. What in reality is like going to be the thing that's going to work the longest, that's going to have the best path to where we want to be is essentially building a business. And ultimately, at first, when we get started, we're like, oh, I don't want the responsibility. I don't want to like have that. Like, I don't want to like have to go become this business person. That sounds It sounds like a lot of work. We just want to figure out how can we just do the least amount of effort to make $100 a day. But as soon as you start going the easy routes in life, as soon as you have the choice between going the easy route and, just the proven route that's just hard up front, as soon as we start chasing the easy route, that's where, we're putting ourselves into like a dangerous position, a very unpredictable position, a direction that, is going to be very there's going to be a lot of uncertainty in it versus if you want the certainty, which ultimately is what we want when it comes to freedom, then we just need to do the things that we know are going to get us to where we are. And so I'll use the business model that I am in as an example. I do what are known as faceless YouTube channels. And when it comes to faceless YouTube channels, don't worry, guys. I'm not trying to get you guys to build a faceless YouTube channel. Just use that as an example. There's hundreds of business models out there. But anyways, with faceless YouTube channels, there's essentially, there's two things that make you tons of money inside there. Is like how you make money on YouTube is you produce videos, and after produce videos, the other thing that's like super effective is just coming up with good ideas for videos. And as long as you do these two things really well, like if you just get good at these two things, these two core principles, you will be able to get to a point that you're able to make money. You're able to get results. And so the skill stack when it comes to building faceless YouTube channels is getting really good at ideas, like coming up with ideas, aka marketing, and then get really good at producing videos, aka production, and even production management if you want to outsource everything. And so if you get good at these two things, and then you can kind of break it down into the skill stacks that play into this producing videos. So for this, it would be like, kind of HR, like hiring and training people. It'd be systems, like using different systems and becoming like a system mindset person and, diagnosing systems. Production of videos also involves, I would say, you can learn like the editing, you can learn what is it that makes for like a good content. And you can also get good at kind of like efficiency, which kind of plays into the systems, but you kind of get the gist of it. Everything that comes into the production of videos. And then when it comes to the ideas, then it comes down to like psychology. Then it also comes down to your ability to understand like the market and marketing. Okay. And also just being able to do, good research and then organizing your research, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so the two things, like now, if our goal is freedom to unlock that we're trying to get to here, let's say, it's like, as we were talking about before, was, let's say 10K a month, trying to be able to travel, be wherever, have location freedom, being able to be able to make money on a whim, whenever, wherever, then it's ultimately like finding if we were to go to the stack here, it's to find a business and then developing the character traits of that business. So top down, we're going to set a goal of where we're trying to go. And from me living in this life and being able to have success and making a ton of money, hitting $100,000 months, I always found that the best way to kind of like really hit those is to do a business. You can always work for people for a good amount of time to kind of develop these character traits for a period and be able to get paid in the process. I didn't go that way, but I know it works really well. And I have people that work for me that are doing the same thing. So set a goal, figure out kind of what is the vehicle, I guess I would say. So business is kind of like the main vehicle that I found that unlocks freedom for people. If you really want to have full control of your life, but you can always do some sort of like agency stack, something like that. And then what you need to do is ask yourself, who is the character that you need to be able to be to have success, which is these kind of traits that we were talking about. We were breaking it down very granularly. What are like, if we were to look at Pareto's principle, which ultimately just means that like what are the 20% of actions that produce the 80% of results. And so you want to find what are the 20% of things that gets the most amount of results, because there's obviously a bunch of bullshit around this too. Like SEO that has nothing to do with like your videos or anything like that. And so you want to find out what are the highest leverage things and then develop that personality or that character stack of what you're trying to do. And so now what I'm going to start doing is the concept of going from where we are to where we are trying to go. So let's do it as more of like a straight line, just for simplicity's sake. Okay. So let's say that you're trying to unlock freedom from wherever the hell you are, as this, let's say, broke person or whatever, you know, yeah. Okay. And so what you want to do is a great book on this actually is like Sigmund Freud's Civilization and its Discontents. He talks about this very in depth. If you watch Tony Robbins and everything, you'll kind of understand this concept a little bit. But there's essentially two forces of fuel that we can use on this journey. There are the pulling factors. Just make that a little bit more bold. Okay, so there's the pulling factors of where we are going. But then on the inverse side of it as well, from where we are now, there are the pushing factor. And so we need to break down these two factors. So this way we can create limitless motivation and limitless fuel to help us get to where we want to go in freedom. Because if you guys have been on this journey for a little bit, which if you're following me, you've probably been trying to change your life, trying to fix it and actually make change in your life, then you'll find that there's kind of like I said, there's all these dark roads. There's like no light at the end of the tunnel sometimes. It's very foggy. It's very hazy, as per the example. There's essentially like a big black box here. That's just, we have no idea what's inside of it. It's scary. It's dark. We don't know what's inside of it. But we do know that we want this. We want the freedom over here. And then we also do know this, that we don't like where we are. This is not where we want to be. This is where we want to be. Whatever the stage is, we'll just call it freedom for the sake of this. And so what we want to do is we want to make a list or start breaking down. You don't have to actually, fuck it. Do this exercise. Write down all of the pushing factors and the pulling factors inside of your life. And so the pushing factors inside of your life are things like you're miserable or fear of failure. Okay. Of being a failure. A little bit more deep cutting to us because we're very social beings. We're starving, hungry. What other pushing factors do we have? Mediocrity. You can go on and on and on. So these are the things that like we do not want to be. But then we also want to lay out what are the things that we want to be. So for us watching this video, we want to be confident. We want to feel important or special. Not everybody necessarily wants to be like an A-list celebrity, but it's nice to be like, it's for people to care about us. So we want to feel important. We want to feel special. We want to have options in life. We want to be able to take care of people around us. And then we can also kind of on the flip side of that is like, if we're outside of just intrinsic things, is letting others down. So we gotta spell here, let's fix that. So what we want to do is we want to kind of break down what is the issue with where we are now. Maybe we feel like sack of shit, we hate our lives, etc. And then we want to ask ourselves, where do we want to go? What are the pulling factors? Like, why do we want to go get to said goal? And I'll be honest, like, I'm able to just kind of throw this stuff down. I've studied this a lot. I've also, diagnosed myself a lot. I've pushed myself really hard. I've achieved a lot of goals. So I know what pushes me and what pulls me. And so for me, there isn't one explicit thing that I'm like, this is why I want to be successful. But there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why I don't want to stay where I'm at. I'm afraid of poverty, or I was for a very long time. I was afraid of not being able to afford things. I was afraid of, there was all sorts of things I was fearful of. And then also on the flip side of it, there was so much to gain. I think also like a big part of it for me was like having awesome friends. It was like one for me that, because I didn't really grow up that. I got tired of, I hated not having like cool people in my life. So I wanted to have awesome people in my life. And so for me over the past, let's say 6 years now, I have really developed a very strong sense of what is it that pushes me and what pulls me. You may not. You watching this video may not be this person that has like had the, what's it called? Self-reflection, the understanding of yourself. What I recommend is start developing kind of what are these motivating reasons and start ingraining it inside your head and start making it more real. And so ways of doing this is, go take a long shower, go for a long walk, go journal and kind of write down what are these things that motivate you and what are this like negative that's like you want to get away from and positive that you want to work towards. And making this very explicit of what exactly is a clear picture of this freedom. I always knew it was kind of like a hazy, like I said, like this area inside of here was foggy, it was scary, like it, as we described over here. It was foggy, it was scary, like I had no idea what was inside of it. But I knew that on the other side of all of it, it was going to be worth it because I knew that on the other side of me going through this whole entire kind of character arc and the development of ourselves, that I knew my dream life was on the other side of this. I knew that like I was starting to define a clear and clear picture. And so a good way of doing this, and just kind of as like a tactical piece of advice for you guys, is to go find people that are living that dream life that you want to have. Go find the people that are at this stage of like where you want to be and see what it is that the person is that they are. Chances are, not chances, but I know for a fact that every person that has gotten to the other side of like having success that you look at, that is a self-made person that didn't necessarily just grow up with family's money. They had to go through this character arc. It may seem like this is like an unoriginal, like an original experience that you're going through and that you're facing, that you're the only person to ever have to kind of try to force through figuring yourself out and developing this for yourself. But in reality, everybody goes through this, and every successful person that you ever meet, especially whether it be myself or anybody you watch on YouTube or social media or anything like that, they've had to go through this dark, scary box. They had to figure it out. And so the best way to, like, I'll be honest, I don't know what's in store for you. It's a little bit different for everybody. I mean, obviously, like, I know what's in store, but it's like for you specifically, I don't know how you were grown up. I don't know how you were raised, how your parents were raised. I was grown up in like a very loving, caring family. My issue was it was like there was too much comfort around me. And so I had to create artificial discomfort. I had to create artificial motivating factors. So like for me, I had to move in with my, I moved out of my parents. And so one of my fears was moving back in with my parents. I felt like if I moved back in with my parents, then I was a failure. My ego wouldn't let me move back in with my parents. I created this fictitious thing. I would also create other, like, here's the thing. You can create these real and pushing and pulling factors, but you can also create fictitious ones too. You can create one that I did, it was like a gun to the head mentality. I had a mentor that taught me this, which was treating it like, as a incremental goal. Let's say if you had to make 10 grand, like $10,000 in the next 30 days, or else, let's say that something was going to happen to your mom. Let's say or your sister or your wife or your girlfriend, someone went and took this person, someone picked them up with a van and they are holding them at gunpoint and they're saying, hey, if you, in 30 days, you don't make $10,000, we're going to shoot the person. And I would create this kind of like fictitious mindset, or this gun to the head mentality, that if I was not able to have success, then the people that I loved there was something that was going to happen to those people. And this created a pushing factor that forced me out of this. So hopefully you guys don't actually have to face something like that in your life, but just know when you do really have a miserable life, that is the biggest fuel. That is the best fire that you could possibly have for motivation and through getting this box over to freedom. So sometimes, like I said, you have these pushing factors, you have these pulling factors that get you to where you want. And then ultimately we can get it to where you have freedom. So that's what I have. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to do a giveaway on this video. Make sure to comment down below. I'm going to be picking one winner to give away a $3,000 course that I used to sell for $3,000, and now I use it for giveaways. And so make sure to drop a comment down below. This course has made a ton of people money and stuff. But anyways, my name is Devon Canup. Go check out the other videos on this channel. See you guys soon. Bye.